Welcome to MagicGatheringStrat. I'm Pierakor, and this is the second part of my daily review. I'm joined by David. Say
Hey
something.
guys.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm back, so still here.
So yeah, this is the part two. So if you haven't watched part one, you should check that out. Um, Especially since we talk about the deck a little bit there, which we won't do again. Um, and yeah, so the first two rounds. Spoiler alert again, if you haven't watched part one, watch it now. The first two rounds we end up winning very well, not necessarily easily. What is the right word
Uh,
here? How would you describe the first two rounds? I mean, the first round was really almost a bye.
we win convincingly. There was no
Convincingly?
doubt, no doubt that we were going to lose.
Yeah, well, at least in round one. Round one was
Yeah,
very convincingly, yeah. And
round two. Um, there were some times where it looked like we could have lost, but
but I mean, both the games we won, we again won very convincingly. Just the one game we didn't win was just
yeah, yeah,
because of bad starting hand, I believe, and him having the die roll on his side. But
yeah,
so far, a very convincing performance.
yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna dive right in and look at the round three. So if you're not aware, if you win 3 rounds in the daily, you're in the money. You're getting prize money and the really a lot of money you get when you go 4-0. And I've never gone 4-0 before, so it
Ooh,
would be amazing and that dream is still alive. So let's have a look
yeah,
here. So again, the round one was against Bogles and the round two was against Blue White Red Geist. And the Bogles had no chance because of turn two Chalice both games. And against Geist, we just played we had an amazing game one with really fast Tron into Platinum Angel, into Eugene, stuff like that. And game three, we just had a lot of interaction. We just had repeals and cyclonic rifts and stuff like that, and remods and condensate, and those he couldn't deal with until we slammed the bomb condition. And we also had a Chalice on one again. Chalice really being the MVP or the MVC, the most valuable card right now, I think.
yeah, yep. Chalice. You can see the power of
Yeah,
how how um how powerful the one drops are in the modern
yeah,
format.
yeah. Or rather, how much the decks are designed around one drops. One
Yeah,
drops are the bread and the butter of most most removal as a one drop. You know, stuff like Thoughtseize one drops. There's
yep.
just a huge amount of one drops. So let's see round three here. I'm not 100% sure against who I'm playing right now.
And now,
Um, so he wins the die roll, and we have a look at this hand. And I'm somebody who throws every hand away that doesn't have a blue source or an expedition map.
yep,
So I, I don't even look at all the cards. I just look at the mana first, and if I see there's no blue source available for me, then it has to go away. I mean,
yep,
I've kept no blue source hands before in stream, but then it was usually natural Tron and Womka Engine, or natural Tron and Eugene, or something like that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it has to be crazy, and I think you can't keep this.
yeah. I look at this hand and see no island, so I'm,
No island, no
yeah,
expedition map.
yep, and I'm getting rid of that.
Yeah, so this has to be a mulligan. See my music list there for a moment. And this hand is infinitely better, and I
Yep,
think that this has to be a keep. This is not a great hand, though. We have only one way to interact, Cyclonic Rift. Snapcaster doesn't really do anything so far. Platin Angel, we're just a long way from that. Not a great hand, but a keep. And he plays Hierarch, so what do you have him on here?
in fact,
You have him on Infect. Well, I'm gonna spoil the deck he's playing. He is playing Infect. I did not have him on Infect at this point because I just I didn't see that much Infect the last.
Yeah, it's really dropped down.
Yeah, I've not played against a lot of Infect, and I just didn't realize it. And I was thinking like, blue, green, and Hierarch. Is he playing like, I don't know, like Buck? I
Yeah, I've actually been seeing. I just played against a guy a couple days ago that was playing Bug, but yeah, when I see blue, green, and Hierarch, I'm thinking Infect. Yeah,
Well, the thing I definitely didn't have him on is Band. I mean, Band is the colors that the Hierarch can do, but
yeah,
I was pretty sure he wasn't gonna play any white. I was thinking maybe
no,
this is like he's ramping into Tazigor or ramping into something else. I kind of had him on a Bug thing, and I kind of wasn't sure what he was on basically, but
yeah,
I really wasn't sure. But he is playing Infect, which we're gonna see next turn when he plays a Glistener Elf, I believe. Oh no, an Inkmoth next as well. That's pretty telling too. And there's a Spellskite. So it doesn't really change all the options that we have so far. We have an Angel in our hand, which I point out there. And
yep,
Angel is really great against Infect.
yes,
They usually do not have a way mainboard to deal with Angel, so all we need to do is get to Angel fast enough. Which is tough here, because he had the die roll advantage, but so far he's only played the Inkmoth as an Infect creature. So it might be okay to just hope to assemble Tron here and slam the Angel. So obviously we play another land here, and we're gonna crack the Expedition map this turn. The question is here, what do we go for?
I'd probably get an island.
Yeah, I think blue source is if you don't have a blue source, you kind of want to get a blue source. Also, it enables us to maybe get Expedition map back, but I think getting Expedition map back with Academy runes is too slow.
Yep,
That's just gonna take too many turns.
yeah,
The thing
I
is,
get.
I mean, if that Tech Edge was a power plant or a mine, there would be no question. I think then we would get Tron.
Yeah, I'll get like. Actually, I probably wouldn't get island. I would probably get like a Bordeaux or Minimo or whatever, like the other
Yeah,
blue source.
yeah, but why?
Uh,
Do you think
I don't know.
Summoning Titan
That's
is relevant here? I mean, he has an island, so Summoning
yeah,
Titan is clearly not relevant. I think I would be scared of something like Tech Edge, which cannot hit an island but can hit Obordo or Minamo.
yeah,
So I think I get an island. So this is now a little bit scary because if he has like I don't know, mutagenic growth, become immense, we die. But it's
yeah,
it's it's just Might of Old Croza.
yeah.
And it's
Just
it's it's just hitting us for 5 and for 6 in fact. So double
yeah,
mutagenic growth would be win here for him. And this is looking very scary at this point. And I think I'm actually thinking here about getting power plant and just hoping for the mine rip for the top deck because the thing is this seems very hard to win.
yeah. We're not in a good spot at this point.
The thing is we have a tech edge, which is
Yep,
great, but he has only 3 lands in play. And if he's smart, he should absolutely never play a 4th land here. There's
yeah,
no reason at all. So play an island here instead of a tech edge because if he sees the tech edge, he's obviously not going to play a 4th land.
yeah.
And now that we found a first, we might be able to first into something like Dismember, which would save us.
Oh, he plays another land.
He plays
Oh,
another land. I think a huge misplay. I mean, we have more information than he does.
yep,
We see the tech edge, right?
yeah.
But
So we're at
considering
eight
that he had
infects.
that he had a Hierarch though, we can't really
Yeah,
do anything, so we just eat it. If he plays the spell, we probably condescend.
yeah. So he doesn't play any spells. So I'm thinking he has some sort of like protection spell or another creature.
Plays Wild Defiance.
Ooh, so I probably counter that.
The thing is, though, why does it
Well,
matter?
actually, it wouldn't matter at this point
It
because,
doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't.
yeah,
He attacks for lethal next turn anyway.
yep,
So we probably let this go. Let's think, what are we probably gonna do next turn? Well, we're gonna tech edge and kill the Ink Moth, right? There's
yep,
just no other play. So, and we're left with 2 mana from Baron, so we could maybe Cyclonic Rift or Condescend something.
mm-hmm,
So we let this go. I hope, because that's the right play.
yeah,
I think I took some time reading the card, and I was thinking about the implications. And the only implication really is Dismember.
yeah. It's basically his next attack. His next attack with an infect guy is gonna win no matter what.
Yeah.
Because of the exalted from the hierarch.
So we find a power plant, which is pretty huge, because now actually Academy Runesing the expedition map is something that might be relevant.
hmm
What do you throw away here?
I probably pitch Urborg and a Condescend probably.
Hmm. Yeah, I think one of the lands, and it has to be Orborg. And I think the other one is tough.
I like keeping Snapcaster because
Snapcaster block, obviously.
yeah,
Yeah,
and since
I think the thing is, if he plays a creature, we probably can't. Next turn, we only have 2 mana. We probably can't Condescend it if he
yep,
plays like a Glistener Elf. But we can Cyclonic Rift. If he plays an Infect creature, we can Cyclonic Rift it.
but he'll just redirect it to Spellskite.
True. So probably actually, with that in mind, I think Cyclonic Rift Orborg is the right choice, maybe. Because if we do get Tron or enough mana to cast Overload Cyclonic Rift, we might as well just play Angel.
Yeah, yeah, Urborg for sure. And then it's either Rift or Condescend, either one.
I'm pretty sure on Rift now. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
that's what I did. I choose the Snapcaster, that's definitely wrong.
yeah, what I
Snapcaster First Knowledge could have been huge here later on.
yep,
That's definitely a wrong play. Especially since we drew another Condescend. So I do this in my turn, so he can't like protect it
yep,
with something. I think
yep.
that's definitely the right play. You don't want to see a Vines of Vastwood or something. So I was thinking here. Hang on a minute. What happens if he plays like a? I don't know. I play a Cyclonic Rift on the Spells Guide, right?
Yep.
He gets +3/+3
hmm
because of Wild Defiance. If he uses the activated ability of Spells Guide, does he get +3/+3 again?
Um.
So what I was scared of basically is he.
No, because the Wild Defiance is only instants and sorceries.
Yeah, but Cyclonic Rift is an instant or sorcery.
Yeah, he targets it. You target the Rift. If he redirects to the Spellskite, um, I
It says change the target of target
yeah
spell or ability, and this
yeah
says when it
so
becomes the target.
yeah so it would get +3/+3 or whatever it gets.
So what I was scared of was he attacks with Spells Guide. He plays like I don't know. It doesn't even matter. Some spell which targets Spells Guide, and then he redirects it on Spells Guide, on Spells Guide, on Spells Guide again and again, and he gets like +20/+20. But
hmm
I'm not sure if it works that way.
No, he can't. After when he does the ability of the Spellskite, it doesn't count that.
It doesn't
That's
trigger Wild Defiance.
No, because it's only the oh, that's interesting because he could like activate it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it does work, the thing is, if you change the target of an instant or sorcery that's already on the stack, does that trigger Wild Defiance? That's the big question here.
Yeah.
And I mean, if that is the case, then it doesn't matter if you change it to the target that it already has.
Yeah.
That's irrelevant at that point. So um, it's clear we both don't know. I would guess. I think it reads like you could do like a +21/+21 spells guide here.
Yeah.
The way it reads, the rule text reads itself, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually work that way, because usually just because you get the idea, or it sounds like it would do that, doesn't mean that it actually does, and I think it would be crazy if it worked that way. But I'm actually gonna do some research, and I'm gonna post this on Reddit or something and ask a judge or try to find out, because I find this quite interesting. So obviously
Yeah.
this didn't
I'm
come up.
looking it up right now, and I'm trying
Oh,
to
okay.
see.
Well,
I
I'm gonna continue here with the record, since he's just attacking with the hierarch. And I don't think he plays anything here. No, he doesn't.
Okay, so I think so. The trigger from the comprehensive, whenever a game event or game state matches a triggered ability's event, the ability automatically triggers. The ability doesn't do anything at this point. So in the case of Wild Defiance, it looks for when a creature is the target of a spell. So if you target it with a spell and it satisfies the trigger condition and causes it to trigger, if the trigger is later changed to something else, it won't cause it to untrigger. The trigger resolves regardless if the spell is still targeting the creature or not. So it sounds like it would trigger it.
No, actually, I think that's no. Actually, what I took away from that is that Wild Defiance triggers. Okay, it says here when a creature you control becomes the target of an instant or sorcery, but it actually sounds like what the card is actually doing is when an instant or sorcery is cast that does
Yeah.
trigger a creature you control. So this wording here is a little bit weird, because I
Oh
think it
no. Okay. There's a update on the Oracle text of Wild Defiance. If an instant or sorcery targets the same creature you control more than once, Wild Defiance will only trigger once.
yeah. So it doesn't actually trigger when the target changes or when it becomes a target. Now what it actually does, it triggers when a spell is
Yeah.
cast that does trigger one of your creatures. And the spell is only cast once, no matter how often you change the target. So I think this should really read whenever whenever a spell is cast that targets one of the creature you controls. That
Yeah.
creature gets +3/+3. I think that's what, because the whole thing becomes a target again is kind of weird with the spells guide. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Uh, he attacked with a hierarch for one, and now it's our turn. We draw a Silent Arbiter. Do we tap out here for a Silent Arbiter? I mean, if he has an infect creature, it has Summoning Sickness.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind doing that. That's well. He's only ever gonna attack with one creature right now because both of his guys have 0 power.
Yeah, but
Um.
we have blockers, man.
Yeah. But yeah, the Arbiter's fine.
I think actually, we don't do this. So I mean, if you play Arbiter, he plays like an infect creature. We don't care. We can Cyclonic Grip the infect creature next turn,
Yeah.
probably, unless he has Spells Guide. Yeah, I think actually the right play is to keep Condescend open. So if he does have a infect creature, we Condescend,
Mhm.
and if he doesn't, we put Academy. We use Academy runes on Expedition Map.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
Because we want to get the Tron. So
I mean, think about what Silent Arbiter is doing. Absolutely nothing.
yeah.
We're not worried that he's gonna beat us to death with a hierarch. Even if his hand was full of spells, eh, he would. Well, Wild Defiance and a handful of spells would probably do a lot of damage, but it wouldn't kill us, and we would be able to counter some of the spells or Cyclonic Grip the hierarch.
Yeah.
So really, the Silent Arbiter is not really important here, I think. And condescending an infect creature or putting the expedition map on top, I think, is important. So you can tell from the cards I'm looking at that that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. 'Cause you would need.
I'm actually doing the math here, how fast I can get the angel down. And it would probably be my turn 8. No. Did he start out? I think
Yeah,
he
he
won
was
the
on
die
the.
roll. So
Yeah.
it would be my turn 7. Like turn 6 we play the expedition map. We probably crack it his turn 7, and then our turn 7 we play the angel. So for some reason now he's attacking with the Spells Guide, and I think it's right here where I got worried about the whole Spells Guide interaction with Wildfines, because I was scared he was gonna pump it that way, but obviously if it doesn't work.
Yeah. He's not so far off of just killing you with normal damage because he has
Yeah,
the Wild Defiance,
yeah.
but um,
But the thing is, if he does that, we have Cyclonic Rift, and I don't suspect he has
yep, yeah,
he has pump and protection.
yeah,
So the thing is here, cracking here might seem weird, but after cracking we have the same amount of mana as before.
yep.
So it's definitely the right decision here.
Hmm.
And we still have Cyclonic Rift open, still have Condescend open. We're just very comfortable here in that position, because if he has the Glistener Elf or any other infect creature, we don't care.
Yeah,
And
yeah. We have the Overload Rift, which is
yeah, Overload Rift, but we probably just slam Angel because it's just the safest thing to do.
yep,
We really don't expect him to have anything in his main board to deal with Angel. And he concedes right
no.
here because he knows we have an Angel in our hand. He had a
Oh
Cataclysm
yeah,
Probe.
because he's off the probe. Yeah.
So
Okay.
you can see there Chalice and Etherize and Dismember, Spells Guide. Those 5 cards are definitely, or those 4 cards are definitely
Yep.
going in. They are huge. They are really, really huge. I think all the other sideboard cards are not really that important. I think Snapcaster is always something that you can bring in if you have an open slot after boarding.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like Remand at all.
No, Remand is really bad. It's good against Become a Man, and that's it. And we don't know
Yeah.
if he's playing that. I'm thinking about
Mhm.
Oblivion Storm because I don't like it that much, because it doesn't hit Inkmoth. And I don't like
Yeah.
Sundering Titan, I don't like Eugene that much either.
Yeah. I don't really. A lot of the big guys are not that great in this matchup
Yeah.
until you've like won the game. Um, I kind of like Oblivion Stone a little bit more because it can also get rid of Spellskite, whereas
Hmm.
but more I like Oblivion Stone more than Eugene, but neither one's with that great.
I'm thinking here about, I want to board out something that's expensive. I'm thinking about Eugene, Better Skull, or Wurmka Engine. And I'm actually thinking about what is better, Wurmka Engine or Better Skull.
Yeah,
I mean, the Better
uh,
Skull comes online earlier and can block, and you can bounce replay, bounce replay, bounce replay, and it just doesn't, you don't care about the infect counters on it, or the -1/-1.
yeah,
So I think you want to keep the Better Skull and Wurmka Engine in. I mean, you can't board out the Platin Angel.
no, Angel has to stay.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah, I don't
you
mind.
want to have the 2 big blockers too, so
Yep,
I think this is what we submit later, and I'm gonna pause here before we submit. I think this is probably the best we could come up with, right?
yeah,
I think
uh,
throwing out the expedition map is always okay when you board in Chalice,
yeah,
and yeah, we basically boarded in like the 5 cards on the right, and we boarded out um, Remand, Sundering Titan, and expedition map.
yeah. Um, yeah, those looks good. I don't see anything that we can really.
Well, we could maybe talk about negate, but the thing is, it's way better to just counter uh, the creatures.
Yeah. Um, I think you could potentially think about Squelch, but he would have to have the Inkmoth Nexus, so you're saying he has to have the Inkmoth Nexus, and he's not always going to have the Inkmoth Nexus, so sometimes...
The thing is, we have Pithing Needle and Trinket Mage.
Yep.
But if we play Trinket Mage, we're probably always getting Chalice.
Yeah.
Because Chalice on 1 is just, again, so huge. Well, I already kept, but let's talk about this hand. 2 lands is not that great, but we have 2 expedition maps, so it's kind of 4 lands. It's kind of a good curve, because turn 1, turn 2 we spend with the expedition map, and then turn 3 we have a first one launch, which is great, and we Etherize again. Etherize is just a really, really great spell.
Yeah.
I think the Etherize is really what makes this hand great.
Yeah.
And if we top deck something like Eugene or Plating Angel, we could even go for very fast Tron here, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that all 3 spells that we have in our hand all are useful with an island. We don't need to we have the Bounce, the Aetherize, the Thirstnaut. They're all powerful enough to warrant keeping this hand, yeah.
So he mulled to 6, something that's not obvious from the client.
Yeah.
And he plays a Glistener Elf. And we draw a Repeal, which is pretty good.
Yes.
Only a Dismember would have been better. And there's a Nature's Claim on our expedition map. So that's tough, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. He played Nature's Claim. He played Hierarch. We draw Fabricate. I mean, we have to play the Orborg, and we have to play Expedition Map. We have no other choice.
Yep.
It's this Nature's Claim really screwed our curve, because we get to crack 1 turn later. We get to blue 1 turn later. We can't Thirst for Knowledge next turn. Basically, we can't Fabricate or Repeal next turn. And with double Hierarch, he's attacking for a lot here. But luckily,
nice.
we draw an island. So what's the play here? Just Repeal on the Glistener Elf on our turn? He only has 1 card in his hand. Only 1 card. It's unlikely that he should be so lucky, and that's a Vines of a Vastfoot or a Apostle's Blessing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind doing the Repeal now.
I'm not sure if that's what I actually do.
Yeah, I think it's either you Repeal now or you Repeal on the blocker step.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what I decided to do. Because if he has something like a combat trick kind of thing, he's gonna use it in the blocker step. And we are the last. We get the priority before damage, so we know if he cannot bluff us, basically. Something that in paper Magic is not as obvious as online.
Yes.
Because online the Infect player can always fake. He can always say, "Do you want to go to combat damage?" You say yes, and then he says, "Oh well, I'm gonna Might of Old Crows or whatever, or Mutagenic Growth." Online it doesn't work that way. If he gives you priority, you are in control whether or not combat damage happens or not. So he attacks here, we go to blockers, we get priority, so we know he doesn't have a combat trick, and Repeal here. So we're dead to Vines of a Vastwood at this point. It resolves though, and we draw Power Plant. That's pretty huge. I mean, let's think about this. He has an Inkmoth Nexus now, which is annoying. But he also has 4 lands. But we are very, very close to Tron. We have a
Yep.
Fabricate. We have an Etherize, which is amazing. Once we have Tron, we're gonna have a Cyclonic Rift. Cyclonic Rift, though, does not hit Inkmoth.
No.
So I think we're now in a turn where we have a huge amount of options what we want to do. I think keeping Etherize open is like the #1 priority here. I mean, we absolutely have to have 4 mana and keep Etherize
Yes.
open.
Yep.
If he only attacks with Glistener Elf for the 3, then we don't use it probably.
Yeah.
So the first question we have to ask ourselves, do we play Power Plant or Tech Edge? And I think we play Power Plant because even if he's gonna use his Inkmoth Nexus, which he probably doesn't because he attacks with Glistener Elf and uses the Exalted. Even if he attacks with Inkmoth Nexus, we don't care, we don't need Tech Edge because we have Etherize.
Yes. Yep.
And we just hope that he just attacks with Glistener Elf and Exalted triggers, doesn't have a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Then we don't Etherize and we crack for Tron.
Yep. Yeah. I agree with that.
Let's see if that's actually what I decided to do. I spent a lot of time here thinking about whether or not that's actually the right play. And I think you have to. I think this is not as obvious as I made it seem, but obviously I've been there before. I've played this before, and I saw how it played out. But I do think this is the right play. What we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can skip ahead a little bit. I don't want to miss anything. Okay, here we go. Play the Power Plant. Plays a Hierarch.
Oh wow.
So this doesn't actually change anything, right? It's still not
No.
lethal. If he had lethal before, he still has lethal now because yeah, if he has a pump spell now, it was lethal before.
Yeah, I like the position that we're in now. Though he has 1 card in his hand, so if he goes for the pump spell, we have the Rift.
Wow, why am I doing this?
Ooh.
This is
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because now you just get blown out by like a kicker vines.
This is definitely wrong what I'm doing here. So what I should have done is I should have waited again until blocker's phase, until I have all the information, and then I would have probably just eaten the 4 damage. I mean, I died to vines here, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, let's see what he has. The thing is, if he has something else, this is definitely a huge misplay. I shouldn't have done this. It worked out, but it's a misplay because we had Etherize, and we probably just could have taken the 4 poison and go to 9, and then we win the turn after.
Yeah, so he just had straight nothing in his hand, so
Yeah.
yeah, we got kind of lucky there, but
Oh no, I think it's actually okay what I did. You know why? We repealed the turn before, and he had only 1 card, and then he played the Hierarch.
oh yeah,
So
yep,
since he didn't Vines in response to repeal, and he has the same card he had as before, it's unlikely he has a Vines of Vast now for the Cyclonic Rift.
yep.
Even when I misplay, I don't misplay. I mean, this could have gone wrong though.
Yep.
So what do we do now? We don't have enough for Fabricate Platin Angel, otherwise that would be the play here.
Yeah, I just I probably just put down Expedition Map.
Yeah, I believe so.
Just because
I
no
think
good
we play
reason.
Expedition Map, we keep open the Etherize.
Yep.
And then next turn we have enough to fabricate into Angel and play it.
Yep.
And if he attacks for 4 infect, we let it go through, and we first
Yeah.
for knowledge.
Yep.
And he's obviously in top deck mode, and I think
Yep.
there's very little things he can top deck here that matter. Because we have Etherize, and Etherize is, again, Etherize is just so strong.
Yeah. So I think I just let this attack go through.
Yeah, I believe so,
Yep.
because it
Yeah.
doesn't matter how much infect we're on.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Angel.
Yep.
And
So
if he does have a pump spell, we Etherize in response.
Yep.
Or after, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So we're good.
Well, I obviously take a bit of time to think about it, but I let it through, I believe. If I remember correctly, I let it through. Now obviously we have to Etherize.
Yep. So yep. Etherize. Blow out.
So I think I get a tower. I think you can get an island or a tower here.
Yeah. Either one. Yeah. Whoa.
So if you have an island, we tap out for Fabricate Angel. If we have a
Yeah.
tower, we have 2 mana left, which is irrelevant. And I think 2 blue sources might actually matter, because we might have Snapcaster Etherize coming up.
Yeah.
I'll now draw a power plant. And I think
Yep.
this has to be Fabricate Angel, because
Yeah.
Inkmoth can fly, and if you play something like Fabricate Better Skull or Fabricate Womka Engine, he could kill us with Inkmoth very easily.
Yep.
If he draws artifact removal, we don't really care, because he can't kill us that turn at least.
Yep. Yeah.
So we're obviously not gonna block here.
Yep.
That would be just asking for any kind of pump spell. So he's taking some time to think if he actually needs to pump here. I mean, he must have something, because he's not giving us priority. And he did Might of Old Krosa. Really doesn't matter at this point. And we draw an O Stone.
Ooh.
Uh,
That's fun.
let's see what we do here. So I'm thinking, actually, we don't care at all about the O Stone.
No.
So I think we first, in our main, throw away the O Stone.
Yeah.
I mean, O Stone is super slow and doesn't really do anything, because we are at 11 poison anyway. And look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. I just pitched the O Stone, and then I would play Tech Edge and get rid of the Ink Moth Nexus, and then start attacking with Platinum Angel.
I think the most important thing here is to play the Spell's Guide
Yeah.
in order to protect the Angel. Because if Angel
Yep.
dies, we are dead. And
Yep.
he has something. He has Nature's Claim. He has maybe even Crozon's Grip. We know he has Nature's Claim, so we have to play with Spell Guide here. So I think we throw away O-Stone.
Yep.
How much mana do we have left? We have 7 mana, and
Yeah.
we haven't played a land yet. Or have we?
No, not yet. That's why I like playing the Tech Edge for the land this turn.
Well, I'm having a look. We could also Snapcast or something, but we don't have a double blue. But
Yeah.
that really doesn't matter. I think we just throw away O-Stone, play Spell's Guide, next turn play Eugene.
Yep.
I don't think I play Tech Edge because I don't really care about the Inkmoth Nexus, and I care more about having mana. This is not enough though for Eugene. If it was, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
If we could Eugene in the same turn. So I'm not attacking here because Inkmoth Nexus. I guess we could have attacked, but
Yeah.
we are completely in control of the game at this point. So it's okay to not attack. Well, it's pretty clear now. We just play Eugene.
Yeah.
Keep
Eugene
plussing.
minus-
Keep plussing
Oh,
his
yeah,
face
plus, yeah. Yep.
because we don't care about the board state.
Yep.
Spells Kite to protect the angel, and if he does have anything, we still have Snapcaster. We actually don't have Snapcaster Contour, but we have Snapcaster first, which is interesting next turn. Nah, I don't attack for the same reason as before. It's okay to play slow here and just protect the angel, I think. But next turn, we obviously want to Tech Edge, being off Nexus, so we can start attacking.
Yeah.
And I'm going to Snapcaster first here, which I think is okay. We don't need the Snapcaster for anything else.
Yep.
We would like to draw maybe into a Condescend or Spell Burst, just to protect the angel. And he just concedes from there.
Yeah.
Let's just fast 2-0 victory. How did we win round? Why did we win game 1 again? Because we had Angel.
Yep.
You had Angel. Yeah, Angel is just really good. Chalice didn't really do anything this match, but the thing is, Chalice would have been amazing.
Yeah.
So we still can say Chalice is a great card. It would have been amazing.
I think all the spells he played this in game 2 were all 1 mana spells, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah. So.
And Epherise again doing great work. Epherise probably winning that second game there and buying us enough time to get to Angel.
Yep.
In fact, usually is kind of a matchup which I'm a little bit scared about. But I don't think you have to be a Tron player because again, Angel is so great, and we have so much. We have Repeal, we have Dismember, we have Epherise. It's definitely beatable. Inkmoth Nexus is the card I'm scared about the most because you can't Cyclonic Rift, you can't Repeal it. And he definitely misplayed game 1. And if in game 1 if he doesn't play the 4th land, I think he wins.
Yeah.
Because we can't Tech Edge.
Yeah, that was a bit of a misplay from him.
Is there anything else you want to say about this match, about Infect?
But no, I think Platinum Angel's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
In that match, but if they're gonna beat you really fast, there's nothing you can really. If they're just gonna win on turn 3, that's just gonna happen sometimes. They'll win on turn 3 or turn 4, and you won't be able to do anything. It's a aggro matchup, which isn't the easiest thing for Blutron, but yeah, I mean, sometimes they just beat you.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's really not that likely that they have such a great hand.
Yeah.
That they're gonna be able to like go all in and kill you. And sometimes if they do, you have like a dismember and they don't have a way to protect it and they go for first pump and then it's just blowout against them.
Yep.
Like they play turn 1 creature, turn 2 they go for like Might of Volcrosa. In response you dismember and they only have like mutagenic growth left and that's not enough.
Yeah.
And or they don't have a mana for the other stuff or something like that, right? So they can have. So, it's completely right. Sometimes they will just have a really extremely great draw, and you won't be able to win. But sometimes you will have a shitty draw and won't be able to win. But often
Yeah.
enough, I think you can deal with what they are throwing at you.
Yeah. Then just you can use your life as a really big resource in this matchup. This is like the perfect example because they're not really
Yeah.
they're not going for your life total
Yeah.
right away, so you can use your life total.
So you can fetch and shock all you want.
Yeah, pretty much. You probably do want to fetch and shock so you can hold up whatever you need to hold up to get rid of the infect guys, but yeah.
I fetch and shock all the time when I'm playing Mono U Tron. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are 3-0,
So we made money.
and the dream is still alive, going
Yeah.
4-0. And the matches were not that easy, actually. I mean, round 1 was okay. We had luck. We got a very good matchup. But round 2 was not easy, although we did win convincingly. And certainly round 3 wasn't an easy matchup.
No.
I,
Yeah,
I,
it's
I wouldn't say that Infect is favored for us. I would say this is probably even, maybe even
yeah.
slightly favored for them. I'm not sure. Again, I haven't played against Infect that much.
Yeah.
But we can't, nobody can say, well, we only went 3-0 because we got the most lucky matchups. That's not true.
No.
We
You had to
did,
work for it.
yeah, we had to work, we did draw decently, but
But
nobody
we
can,
you
that's
put
just, hmm?
you were able to put yourself in a position to
Yeah,
where drawing those cards
yeah,
would win you the game, and so
exactly.
that's part of just the deck building and
Yeah,
playing
and
to your outs.
exactly. We played in a way that we could top deck Tron and win
Yep.
sometimes. Okay, so let's go to round 4 here. Trying to remember what I played against in round 4. Oh, I do remember. This match is gonna be ridiculous, I can tell you already.
Okay. Um, I don't see anybody that I recognize that is 3-0.
No, there was nobody important there. There
Yeah.
was like another streamer who was 2-1, and there was
Yeah, that's all I saw.
so I'm checking here the standings of my opponent. So this was the first time I went 3-0, and I was thinking if price splitting is a thing. Let's talk about that maybe for a minute. I thought if three people who are both 3-0 play against each other, in theory they could price split.
Yeah.
And I know that in drafts, that's usually a thing they do in the finals, or at least it used to be when I was watching a lot of streams like a couple of years ago. And
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if that's even a thing now, and if that's in draft or if that's a thing in dailies. So do you know?
Um, I've done it before. I did it. Um, the last the last time I did it was in the fall. Um, probably like 6 months ago,
Yeah,
maybe 6 or 7 months ago. It was in a popper daily, and we were both 3-0, and he offered a split. And
yeah,
but I mean, I remember um, there used to be like uh, an option that you could split with your opponent in the daily events, but they got rid of that for
seriously?
yeah for whatever reason.
Wow.
Um, but I don't think it happens too much now because
Yeah.
I saw there was like a streamer. Um, I'm trying to remember. I think it was about a year ago or so, maybe a little under a year ago, who was playing, um, and he asked his opponent if he would concede, because the streamer was 2-1 and his opponent was 1-2 in a daily event, and he asked his
Mm.
opponent if he would concede because so he wouldn't knock him out of the prizes.
Mm.
And the streamer got banned for like a week from Magic Online for like
Wow.
bribery, asking if his opponent would concede.
Wow.
So
Well, it is in a paper tournament. You would consider it bribery or
yeah,
collusion. Especially, I mean, asking the opponent to concede just like that shouldn't be. I mean, that's just how are you? Do you want to concede? I mean, that's part of the game, right? In paper
yeah,
Magic, that happens all the time. When you're ahead, you ask your opponent if he wants to concede or something. But as soon as you say something like, "I'm gonna win a few packs, maybe I give you one,"
yep,
then it's bribery.
yeah,
So the thing is, most of these rules are not really enforced online. Like, obviously, outside assistance is not enforced. Otherwise,
yeah,
streaming would be dead.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, when I went into this fourth round, I was kind of the mindset I don't want to bother with the splitting. If my
Yeah,
opponent is gonna offer it, I'm gonna probably take it.
yeah.
Just to
That's usually the mindset I take too. Is that
yeah.
I wouldn't mind if my opponent split. And I think that's how a lot of people think, but a lot of people aren't going to go and and ask their opponent, "Will you split this
Es
event?" You know, but
Especially when my opponent is like farming or grinding QPs.
yeah,
I wouldn't mind doing the concede as long as I get like half the prizes.
yeah. I don't. I think when I did it, because I wasn't in it for the QP, and so I asked my opponent if he wanted the QP point, and he gave me like one
Yeah.
extra like booster pack or whatever.
Yeah, that's how I remember it when I was watching a lot of streams, how they sometimes would do it. They would give an extra pack to one who conceded because the winner would get the QP.
Uh-huh.
And it makes sense because it's an odd number of packs.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we didn't do prize split here, and we win the die roll, and we look at this hand. I mean, what
Yeah.
can you say? It's natural Tron plus a blue source plus some other land we don't care about, and the spells we have pretty amazing.
Yeah, I would keep this hand.
I think so too. I think we keep this hand, and I think this is. I think at this point we can probably say that we've gotten a little bit lucky this night with the draws. I mean, we had turn 3 Platinum Angel, turn 4 Eugene before. We had the Chalice on turn 2 before several times. I think, and we did top deck like the power plant off of a condescent scry the other one of the games. So we did get a little bit lucky maybe a few times here, and this is certainly one of the starting hands,
Yeah.
which is very good. So we don't know what the opponent is playing, but there's very few decks who can deal with this hand. And the great thing is because of we have Fabricate, we have so much more options. We could get an O-Stone if he's
Uh,
a very so
so
hang on.
Turn 1 Teleria West is um there's only like a handful of decks that play Teleria West.
And
So my first
there's only one deck
yeah,
which is really played.
yeah, and I'm thinking it's Bloom Titan.
Yeah, it's most likely Bloom Titan. The only other there's like two other decks I could think of. I think Possibility Storm.
Mm-hmm.
They play Tolaria West to get their Ornithopter, and
Yep.
Pact. I think they also play Pact maybe, and some other combo deck which would likely
Yeah.
transmit into Pact. I don't know if there's.
Yeah, but I'm thinking this is a some sort of combo deck, probably Bloom Titan by
This
seeing the
is
Teleria West.
I have 100%. I have him on Bloom Titan, especially since he's 3-0. I don't
Yeah.
expect him to play Possibility Storm or
Yeah.
some other
Yep.
like crazy combo deck.
Yeah. Uh, Yeah.
So my history of Bloom Titan is but I've never won against it. And now he plays Amulet of Vigor, he plays Simic, Growth Chamber. What is our plan against Amulet Titan here? Is our plan to slam Batterskull? Or are we scared to lose against Hive Mind combo? Do we want to fabricate into something special? Do we have anything we could fabricate into that helps us?
Um,
I mean, obviously this turn we could fabricate into Chalice, play Chalice on 0.
yeah. I think actually if you would. Mm, if we had a Chalice in our hand right now and we played the Tron land, I actually would say put Chalice on 2, just because that way you don't lose to Summer Bloom. But
The thing is, do we lose to Summer Bloom though? We have a Batterskull which can block Titan for a while. I mean, Titan has Trample and Double Strength, whatever, but
yeah, I don't think I don't really think fabricating for if if you had known that he has a pact in his hand, then obviously fabricate for Chalice and throw it on 0. Or if he doesn't have if he has a pact, but if he doesn't, then it's a little more tricky. We wait to the draw step to see what we draw.
yeah, okay, let's do that.
Um,
We draw Treasure Mage.
hmm.
I mean, I think
I think I might go Treasure Mage. No, that's still when I was. After seeing Treasure Mage, my initial thought was right away was to go Treasure Mage to Platinum Angel, but that still loses to Pact. Hmm.
I think I'm not sure what I did here, but it seems like we play Batterskull. And
Yeah,
I think this and the Fabricate Chalice on 0 are the only lines that make sense to me. But again, I've never won against Bloom Titan before, and I have a hard time against the deck, so I just know that Chalice on 0 really is pretty good against the deck because they use a lot of pacts, and they can pay for the pact really fast, so
yeah,
you want to deny them the pact so they can't search up a Titan, so they can't counter your spells. It's huge if you have a pact. But luckily, he seems to be on a relatively slow game here, because by turn 3 they usually already have a Titan.
yeah.
So we got a little bit lucky here, probably. And I think now we probably Treasure Mage or Fabricate into something.
Yeah.
I mean, first we're probably gonna attack. Let's see how that happens. At least we should. So I'm having a look at the deck. Apparently I'm thinking about Platinum Angel.
Yeah, I don't mind getting Platinum Angel.
Or Chalice. Platinum Angel or Chalice. The thing is, Chalice, yeah, I would always play with Chalice on 0, I think. Just because, the thing is, I read it somewhere that Chalice on 0 is pretty good, and I understand why it should be good. And I understand that maybe in some situations, like a Chalice on 2 could be amazing, but I don't really understand when I should be playing with Chalice on 2, so I would just probably always play Chalice on 0 and just know, well, at least I killed all his pacts.
Yeah.
But we go for the Angel here, and I think that's a pretty safe play. I think the options here are Treasure Mage, Angel, or Fabricate Chalice on 0. He goes and transmutes. And I would assume he gets a pact of some sort. He gets a slaughter pact for the angel.
Okay.
So now it's pretty obvious we have to fabricate and play Chalice on 0.
Yep.
And we have our own Talaria West, but it doesn't really matter. I like to keep, one could play Talaria West here, but I like to keep it in my hand in case he has, we know
Yeah.
he plays Ghost Quarter, right?
Yeah.
And
I think they play like one.
and they have ways to find it. So if he manages to find a Ghost Quarter and Ghost Quarters for tower, we have a Talaria West to get a new tower. I
Yep.
really like that. And I'm feeling pretty secure here, although the deck can be very explosive and can go off just like that. But even if he manages to like Summer Bloom into a Titan, we're not dead to a Titan. And
No, that's one of the things that Batterskull, because they're trying to double strike you for, 20 damage or 18 damage with the Titan, but Batterskull messes up their math a little bit.
well, the thing is,
And that
because of double strike, you don't get the life because it's first
yeah,
strike. But I mean, first of all, even if we just don't block, we are not dying to that.
yeah,
And second of all, we don't die to Hive Mind because we have Chalice on 0.
yep,
Because of so I'm pretty sure you want to get your. I think what we did is the correct thing. We got a Chalice on 0, which is important because of Hive Mind, and just because Pact is a great, they can abuse Pact even without Hive Mind, and we have the life total, so we're not worried about Titan anymore. So he plays a Azusa. This is like the most obvious sign that he has a bad draw because usually they don't want to bother playing a creature. they they want to win the game way before turn 5. Now he has a lot of mana because of the Azusa, but
so I'm
he get,
guessing as a Titan. Yep,
he has
okay.
he has a Titan, but as I said before, at least we're not losing to this Titan. But
Yeah,
of course he can get the Slayer thingy and the Sunhome thingy now. And it all untaps. I guess he gives it haste vigilance now. So he
yep,
can attack and get the other 2 lands. And I mean, you have to admire. We had a really great draw here, and
yeah,
he still manages to do this crazy stuff.
yeah. I don't know if you read the article about, I think it was by the Modern Nexus or something like that, and they talked about what are the best decks in the format right now,
Hmm.
and um, the best deck in the format for Magic Online right now is Soul Sisters, obviously because of just it hoses so many decks. But of like decks that see a lot of play, Bloom Titan has like the highest win percentage of those decks at um, it's like 62% win rate or something like that.
Hmm.
Something insane like that. It's really
So we're gonna come back to that after the match, I think, because I find that
yeah,
interesting. So remind me if I do forget.
yeah.
So do you think this block here is correct? I mean, he can't go double strike. Even if he could go double strike, we wouldn't care. But he got different lands.
Um, yeah, I don't mind this block.
Yeah, I think so too. The idea here is, I think we want to play the angel and then equip on the angel anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is you're
Yeah.
gonna shoot up the angel anyway, so
Now we find a Sunring Titan, which is highly irrelevant due to him not playing any shocks or basics.
yeah,
We could play the Orborg here and then play the Titan and destroy the. Uh, where's the land? Oh, he has it in his hand. He took it back into his hand.
yep,
The Slayer's Fortress, I think. So we could do that eventually. And he only plays one Slayer's Fortress and one Sunhome. So that's pretty big if you remove those. And I think he's just dead next turn due to equip and attack.
Yeah, he would have to have. Well, no, yeah, he has. He'd have to have some sort of way to kill artifacts in his main deck.
Oh well, he has Radiant Fountain.
That should still put you at 8, though, right? Yeah.
Well, he can take the Radiant Fountain back into his hand and replay it.
Oh, yeah, play it again. So 10.
He has Azusa and he can just
Yeah.
replay it.
It just takes. He's just kind of delaying the inevitable at this point, I think, though.
Well, there's another Titan. And now that he has 2 Titans, he can actually raise those because he can do enough damage now.
Yep.
Especially if he gets the double striker. So it's not it's not as clear as you were trying to make it sound with delaying the inevitable. And
Yeah.
there's a Ghost Quarter. And he does destroy the tower. So it's really important that we kept the Talaria West. Because otherwise
Yes.
we wouldn't be able to equip. So he plays Radiant Fountain, which is really important. If he didn't do this, he would die. And I think it's pretty obvious we have to transmute here.
Yep.
And just equip and attack. There's no other line of play in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I was thinking if leaving the Academy Runes untapped is relevant, but since we have nothing, it's really not. But it's a little bit scary here. I mean, as far as we know, he doesn't really have a way to deal with Angel.
Yeah.
But his board can do a lot of damage, and he can search all the lands he needs. But yeah, again, there should be no land in his deck which makes a difference. It would actually be pretty good if he has if he had like some kind of land which was sacrifice this land, destroy target creature. That would be huge for his deck.
Yeah.
At least in this situation, right? But I don't think there's anything remotely like that in Modern. And I think he's currently realizing that he has no way to deal with the Chalice, Batterskull, and Angel. With this combination of these 3 cards, he just cannot remove the Angel. Even if he manages to raise the Angel lifelink, we still have the Angel, so we still don't lose. And he can't Radiant Fountain often enough. He will die to his 8 damage.
So there's one card that you could have that's like that could kill his that could kill Platinum Angel, and it's Arena. So it's choose one creature card. Choose one of your creatures and one of your opponent's creatures. Both creatures become attacked, and your creature does its power and damage to your opponent's creature.
Yeah, but it wouldn't kill because Primeval Titan has 6 power.
Yeah, but he could give it the Slayer Stronghold.
Oh, +2/+0. Yeah.
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 But I don't think they play that card, so.
No, neither should they, because this is not a matchup they should care about. And yeah. So he keeps doing the Radiant Fountain stuff. But yeah, actually, you were right. He's just delaying the inevitable. Because really, I don't think they have a mainboard way to deal with Angel and Chalice on 1. Angel and Chalice on 1.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen this today? Angel and Chalice on not Chalice on 1. This time it's Chalice on 0. Usually it's Chalice on 1. Angel and Chalice is what I should say. It's just huge.
I think at this point he's just kind of showing off. He's just trying to show off. I don't know.
I think he's bitter at this point.
Yeah, little salty.
That he's losing against like in his mind, a tier 3 deck, which had just an
Yeah.
extremely lucky draw.
Yep.
Mm. I, on the other hand, was very nervous during this time because I did not realize how much I had won at this point. I was still very, very scared that there was somehow he may be able to bounce the Chalice and then Hive Mind combo me or bounce the Angel or something.
Yeah.
So he's just wasting a lot of time here. Now he's gonna Radiant Fountain and he has Vesuva, and I think he's gonna Radiant Fountain again with the Vesuva. I know he gets a Gruul Turf and bounces the Radiant Fountain. So the deck has a lot of fun interactions. You gotta admire that.
Yeah. It's it can win pretty quickly. I think I was watching the guy who won the Mox a week or two ago, and he won on turn 2. I think with Bloom Titan he played like three packs on turn 2 and won.
Yeah, I think the deck is maybe a little bit too crazy. I'm not really the
Yeah.
right person to make that judgment, but there's other people who are and who are thinking about this, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
I think this deck will eventually get some kind of nerf.
Yeah, I think the consensus with a lot of the pro players, from what I've been able to read from when I've been able to understand from watching their streams and such, that they think the problem card is Summer Bloom,
Yeah.
and it's not Amulet. Amulet's not the problem card; it's the Summer Bloom.
Because Summer Bloom makes it so explosive, makes very
Yeah,
early kills.
yeah, because you can have um, yeah. I don't think the deck will really exist after if Summer Bloom gets banned, but
So for some reason, I hope the recording is not broken. No, it was just gone for a minute.
uh,
Or for a second rather. So we're sideboarding now. And this is really tough to sideboard here. I think the Chalice was amazing, so the Chalice has to go in.
yep,
And I think the lifelink creatures are pretty important against Titans. So now the
yeah.
Volca Engine also. And the Sunring Titan is just bad, so. I'm not sure about anything else really. I think Pact would be playable, but we want to play Chalice on 0.
Yeah. How do the cards read the Sunhome Fortress or whatever?
What exactly are you talking about?
Because is Spellskite a way to
Oh yeah,
redirect?
yeah. You should be able to spell Sky the ability. Yeah, you can also Squelch and Pithing Needle. Those. Yeah. It's an
Yeah,
activated ability that has a target.
yeah,
So I'm keeping him with Dismember because I saw the Azusa basically. I was thinking
yep,
of before about boarding out the Dismember, then I decided, well, I should keep at least one for the Azusa.
yeah,
And I ended up boarding out the Sunring Titan, Silent Arbiter, and 2 Expedition maps. It seems. It's really tough. This gave me a headache, and I really didn't know how to board here. I mean, the only thing that's really clear cut and solid is the Chalice. I think Chalice has to come in.
yeah. I think what you have there is fine.
I'm not
You
sure
could
how
make,
good. I'm not sure how good Jester's Cap really is.
yeah,
It
I
should
think
be way too slow all the time.
yeah, you could make a case for Squelch maybe, but at that point uh, I wouldn't bring it in this matchup, but I think you could make an argument for it. Yeah.
So I
Okay.
actually tried out. I think now in hindsight, I actually think that I would rather play Expedition Map than Jester's Cap, because Jester's Cap. I mean, look at this hand. Look at this hand. This hand
Yeah.
is only playable because of Expedition Map. Expedition Map will sometimes make it so that you have turn 3 Tron. And as we saw before, turn 3 Tron it can be a way to win. And Jester's Cap is pretty much always going to be too late, I think. So I think Jester's Cap should have been an Expedition Map. So let's talk about keep or mulligan here, and I think this has to be a keep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind keeping this hand.
We can remount the first Titan, maybe. Uh, we have possibly Tron very fast, possibly well, just a nice amount of lands, and Oblivion Stone is not that great, but Oblivion Stone, if we do get to 8 mana, Oblivion Stone can be huge, because his only win condition, well, that's not true, but his Titans are his main win condition, and then there's Hive Mind, of course. But
Yep.
if you remove a few Titans, that's pretty huge. And he has a Cavern of Souls, so that's really sad, because the remount is now useless. Pretty much. And it's amazing that we draw a blue source here, because that means we basically get Tron.
Yep. Okay.
And we have remount open here, if he does play something. And he actually misses a land drop.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And that's huge, right?
Yeah.
Like, he never wants to miss a land drop. And he's just on one color, he's just on blue. If he had like a, I don't know, if he had like Summer Bloom in hand or something like that, or Ancient Stirrings, it didn't matter because he was just on blue. Now, obviously, hang on, let me pause here for a minute. Even before this first happens, he finds the Simic, so obviously he top decked that. But
Yep.
he doesn't have Amulet, so it's really slow. And look at this, it's his turn 4. He's so slow. He's quite clearly, he had a bad hand.
Yeah.
And this is something I've not seen before, because they always tend to have a turn 3 Titan against me. But that's something I've read about online, that when I went online and tried to complain about the deck, people said, well, you know, it's inconsistent. Sometimes it just has a shitty hand and can do nothing. And this is it. Last game was actually kind of the same. He played his Titan, I think, turn 4, turn 5.
Yeah.
That's super slow for them. So this is great for us, especially since we have Tron next turn, and now we first. What are we gonna throw away here? I think Island Urborg.
Yeah.
You could possibly make a case for O-Stone, since we have Academy Runes.
Yeah. What I'm looking to do with this hand. So this hand's interesting because, or at this point, it's really interesting. Mindslaver basically becomes like almost like Blood Moon for us against him. So if we could Mindslaver him and we force him to use a pack and he can't pay for it,
Yeah.
we just win right there.
Yeah.
So I think that's like our number one avenue to winning right now is somehow getting a Mindslaver down.
And we're also not that far away from Mindslaver Lock.
Yeah.
And once we have Mindslaver Lock, we can definitely try to kill him with Pop, even if he has mana to pay, because we get to decide.
Yep.
So we throw away O-Stone, we throw away the 2 lands. I think we throw away O-Stone because we want to have the 2 lands for Mindslaver Lock.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here. I think I do throw away the O-Stone.
Yeah. Yeah. You also have 9 cards, so you're gonna have to discard a card eventually.
No, I throw away the 2 lands, but I think it's close. Since
Yeah.
we have 9 cards, I think this is probably actually the right decision.
Yeah.
So do we slam Eugene here?
Yeah, I think that's fine. He can't do anything about it on this
Yeah.
turn.
And it's unlikely
just
that he
yeah.
wins out of the blue next turn. I mean, O-Stone is probably a little bit safer. So if he does manage to play a Titan next turn, we can O-Stone. But
Yeah.
he can just not contest. He can do nothing about this Eugene right now. And now let's see, we have enough to Mindslaver him this turn. We have 11 mana after we play tower. So
Yep.
I think there's absolutely no reason not to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have. What could he have? He could have nothing. He could have Pact and then he can't pay the Pact.
Yep.
He does not have a counter spell except for Pact. So
Yeah. Yeah. I would just slam down Mindslaver and not worry about it. And
let's have a look at his hand. I was actually
uh,
wait until his draw step maybe.
you just win the game.
Well, we really should be because of Summoner's Pact and he doesn't have double green.
Yep. Yeah. You just win.
So the thing is though, I'm not winning the game here. I realize that I can do this, but what I didn't realize is that he has only one green.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I had won the
Oh.
game, and my idea here was I'm gonna play the Summoner's Pact, look at his deck to get some info, and just search for nothing, and then I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna play both Summer Blooms. So you can see already there that I thought he had
Yeah.
two green because I thought I'm gonna play both Summer Blooms. Obviously he has only one green, but I didn't realize that. So and because I'm in that line of thought, I'm actually making a big mistake there, which you're gonna see in a minute. So we have a look. I tap this, and now I actually realize that I'm still in the upkeep, which you can't see right now. And this is something which I really have to say, Magic Online does horribly. When you do a mistake in a Mindslaver turn, usually when you tap your mana, you can Control Z, undo,
Yep.
right? You can't do this during a Mindslaver turn. If you tap something, it's tapped. I can't
Wow.
untap. What I want to do here is I want to untap, go to main phase, and
Yeah.
use the Summer Bloom. I mean, of course it doesn't matter because we should be winning the game, but currently I'm in the mindset that I want to cast both Summer Blooms, and now I can't because it's sorcery. So I'm really, really agitated at this point and cursing Magic Online. So we go to main and look, we draw Gemstone Mine. And what's my first instinct? Play Gemstone Mine, use Summer Bloom.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Well, this is pretty horrible. This is a pretty horrible mistake, I have to say.
Oh.
Right? This is
Yeah.
like, and at this point, our opponent chooses to contact us in the messaging and tell us just how cool a player we actually are. So, but look at this. We have Eugene at 11, right?
Yeah.
So the natural thing is to -10.
Yeah.
So he goes here and tells us, why did you do that? That's not really smart. And now I have a. Let's look at all the cards we drew. We drew a lot of cards.
Yep.
So what are some interesting things we could do here? We probably will put Engine and Batterskull on the field. We probably want a Jester's Cap.
Yeah. I'm putting Cap, Batterskull, Engine.
And the two
Uh,
Tron lands, maybe?
yeah, 2 Tron lands. So that's 5, right? 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5. Academy Ruins, probably.
No, we can play the Academy because we haven't played a land yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Um, Oblivion Stone,
A Trinket
maybe.
Mage.
Yeah.
So, but
We have. Yeah, there's a lot of cards. Uh,
now I'm pretty proud of myself because I actually realized that we can win the game here by playing Trinket Mage, getting Expedition Map, using the Expedition Map to get Tech Edge.
oh, nice.
I believe that's the way I played it. We're gonna have to see. So obviously we should have been winning anyway.
Yeah. just took the long way
So
around.
I didn't realize it right now. I was still thinking about which cards do I want to play, so I just put all the cards I'm thinking about on the battlefield, and once my hand is a little bit smaller, I realize that we actually have a Trinket Mage and enough mana to do
To win.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if he had not told me, I would have probably not done it. If he had not told me, why do you play the Gemstone Mine, I probably wouldn't have realized that I could do this play. But since he chatted with me, I immediately realized, well, Attack Edge would win me the game here.
Yep.
And that's game over. And there's
Yeah.
really nothing else to say except he loses to the Summoner's Pact.
Yeah. I think he was just a little salty. He probably wasn't going to win either way. But
Well, look at the board.
yeah.
Do you honestly think he was gonna win?
Yeah.
I
mean,
mean,
you
we
just
had Mindslaver Lock, we had Eugene, and let's
yeah.
see, I have the chat here, and it doesn't show the part where he complained about, or where he told
Yeah.
me that I shouldn't have played the Gemstone Mine, but it shows the part where he complains about 0 lands in all of my openers and had to keep
Yeah.
2 Bloom Titan and Terraria. Pretty sweet. So yeah, he had. We saw his hand. His hand was Titan, Titan, Bloom, Bloom, or Summer Bloom, Summer
Yeah.
Bloom, and Terraria
Yeah.
West. That was his starting hand.
Yeah. I mean, that's just going to happen with any deck, is that you're going to have draws that you just can't lose, and then you're just going to have draws when you just can't win.
So I wasn't really sure exactly what I was winning, because I thought maybe he has something else. So I
Yeah.
wrote GG question mark, and he's like, no, it's not really a game, just because he got blown out so hard. And
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing Bloom Titan. If Bloom Titan is winning, the opponent is not really playing a game.
Yeah, that's true.
When you play against Bloom Titan and you lose, you don't even get to start to play a game. You know, you get to see your starting hand, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you play a mana dork or something. So yeah, he was a little bit salty, but whatever. Pretty big mistake there in that game. But that's a really obvious mistake, which I shouldn't have done.
Yeah. But you were able to recover from it, so
Yeah. And we go 4-0. We had a couple
yeah.
lucky draws, and some of these draws look more, or here. Yeah, or whatever. So these look really lucky, kind of, or really fortunate, because we always got to Tron by turn 4, turn 5, turn 6. But we usually didn't have that great hands. We had 2 Tron pieces and an expedition
Yeah.
map, and then we drew the island. So that's pretty natural. That's not insanely lucky. You know, we just ended up being somewhat lucky, I suppose. But yes, some of the things were really good, and that's the end of the recording.
Yep.
I'm gonna put up the deck again. Hang on, so we can have a look at that. That was somewhere here. Hang on. Okay, that's the deck. So 4-0, first time for me, pretty big thing. Made like 30 tickets out of that. And we also really high game win percentage. We only dropped 1 game against Geist.
Yeah.
All the others we won 2-0. Chalice was amazing. Chalice on 0, Chalice on 1. Platinum Angel plus Chalice was amazing. The game, the deck just performed really well. I mean, yeah, we have to recognize that there was a little bit of luck involved. Sometimes we just top deck what we needed. Sometimes we just had good hands. We didn't have to mulligan a lot.
Yeah. But that's just variance, and you
Yeah,
put
that's
yourself
just,
in a position,
yeah,
and
uh,
you have the cards in your library that are gonna win
yeah.
the you played to the out that you had. So
And we also didn't really do any big misplays,
yeah,
except the one in the with the gemstone mine.
yep,
And you could even argue that at that point we were already like almost winning.
yeah. Even the opponent even said that it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter
But
at this point. So
I'm gonna put that on Magic Online because I wanted to play with Summer Bloom just to
yeah,
waste it, and it wouldn't let me in the upkeep, and that thing I was fully focused on that aspect, right? I was so
yeah,
angry at Magic Online. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I was just thinking I wanted to waste the Summer Bloom, and it didn't let me. And that's the only thing I had in my mind. So when I drew a Gemstone mine, I was like so happy I could finally waste that Summer Bloom. So, I mean, obviously it's a mistake, but it didn't matter in the end. We went
yeah,
4-0, which is pretty big, and that's gonna mean that I'm gonna play more dailies too, because now I have a little
Woo.
bit of a bankroll to play with, I suppose, a little bit
yeah.
tickets to throw away. But right after I won this, I decided to change around a couple things about the deck, and I want to talk about this. So maybe what are your ideas now that you've seen the deck for 4 rounds, and when you see the deck list here? What would you change personally if you had all the money in the world and you could change whatever you want?
Um, I think I want Hercules Recall.
Yeah.
Um,
How many?
I think I'm in like one or two maybe.
I'm
Probably.
thinking two for the sideboard, but it
Yeah,
really depends how much affinity you're expecting. I think again, as we said at the very beginning of part one of this, the
yeah,
sideboard really depends on your personal preference and what you're expecting. And if you're
yeah,
expecting affinity, I think you play two. If you don't expect affinity, you play zero. I think you either go two or zero.
yeah. Um, I don't think there's really too much I'd change out of the sideboard. Um, yeah, Hercules Recall is the biggest thing.
So what do we cut for Hooker's Recall?
Um, I'm
Well,
thinking
one Bottle
maybe,
Gnomes is the obvious choice, I think.
yeah. Um, I was thinking Jester's Cap and a Bottle Gnome.
That seems very reasonable. Well, those are not the changes that I've made to the deck. I decided to buy some Chalice for two reasons. First of all, I always wanted to play Chalice and have Chalice, but I
Yep.
sold them the last time they were expensive.
Yeah.
I sold two of my Chalice. And now they haven't seen a reprint in Modern Masters 2, and there was a chance that would happen. It wasn't very likely because they were in Modern Masters 1, but now since I know they are not in Modern Masters 2, I decided to pick them up because they can only get more expensive now. They are not going to be printed in the next in the Zendikar set. They're not going to be. I don't think they're going to be like a Friday night promo or something.
Yeah.
So I bought two Chalice, and I mean, a big part of this decision was also how great Chalice has performed, how important
Yeah.
Chalice was, and the realization I had that pretty much every matchup Chalice on one is great. I mean, not necessarily great, but good.
Yeah.
Even the matchups where it's not good, it's still, or where it's not great, it's still at least good to play Chalice on one. So I thought I want to have more Chalice. So what I did, I put two more Chalice on the sideboard. I think that's maybe a little bit too much. Having three Chalice side, one Chalice main. I think you want to probably be at one main, two side. But I want to
Yeah.
test this out for now. I want to see how it goes. So I had to cut two things. And again, Bottle Gnomes is the obvious thing because most people don't even play Bottle Gnomes, and I play two. So cutting one
Yeah.
Bottle Gnomes. And also Bottle Gnomes and Chalice do kind of the same thing. They are good against burn,
Yeah.
basically.
Yep.
And the second card I cut gave me a lot of headaches. So I was thinking a lot. I didn't want to. It couldn't be Wonka Engine and Etherize. I think those are like, and Dismember. Those four are like the untouchable
Yep.
cards, which I really want to have. I was thinking Spellskite and maybe Pack, but I've really liked these cards so far, how they've performed for me. I know that I'm like the only person in the universe who's playing these cards in a Blue Tron sideboard, but I really like them. And I think the most flexible slots, the one which I would throw away the most likely is Quelch and Snapcaster.
Okay, yeah.
I almost never board in Snapcaster. When I do board in Snapcaster, it's probably it's mostly
You have nothing better to do.
yeah, it's because I have an open slot and I don't really have a good card for it, and that doesn't happen that often. Usually, yeah, that doesn't happen that often. So Snapcaster and the Squelch, we didn't play a single Squelch, and yeah, I mean Squelch has really good uses. Like Squelch is amazing against Tron, against red, green, and blue Tron. Squelch is really good against almost all planeswalkers, against Fulminator Mage, against Aether Vial, against Tech Edge Ghost Quarter, but I just don't see it that much. So the decision was between Squelch and Snapcaster, and I ultimately decided for Snapcaster.
Yeah.
So I cut one Snapcaster, one Boil Gnomes for 2 more Chalice, and that's the list I'm running right now. And if I was to, I'm probably gonna pick up Procul's Recall once the Modern Masters goes live, and then I will probably replace. I will probably replace something. I'm not gonna probably Squelch. I'm probably gonna decide whether I want to play 2 Squelch or 2 Huckle's Recall based on the event I'm playing and how much affinity there exactly is in the current metagame and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about that. Probably the top like decks if you're going to an event. For like the Magic Online. The decks that you have to like really prepare for. Your deck needs to be is like Splinter Twin, Burn, Affinity, some sort of like black green mid range. Either it's Abzan or Jund, Bloom Titan, and then the Grixis Delver deck. I think those are the decks that is that 6, 3. Yeah, the like 5 or 6 different types of decks that you need to be able to metagame for. Yeah.
Affinity is one of them, so you should have probably Huckle's Recall in
Yeah.
your sideboard. And Squelch is not really that important against most of these decks, so I think Squelch could be replaced with Huckle's Recall.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna wait until they have a reprint, so I'm not paying that much. So yeah, that's the deck. 4-0. 8-1 in games. I don't know what else really to say about the deck. You wanted to talk about the Modern Nexus kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so there's the Modern Nexus. They had about 2 weeks ago or so. They had they did a breakdown of like the top decks, top tier decks. So the best deck that they from officially reported data from the Magic Online, the Bloom Titan had the highest match win percentage of 60.6%. And they came up that it was 90% likely that Amulet Bloom was going to have a match win percent truly above average relative to average Magic Online performance. So the average deck on Magic Online, you would think that it would perform like at 50%, but the average Magic Online match win percentage was 49.25%. So your deck is actually above average if it wins half the time. But part of the thing with Bloom Titan, I think, though, is that the stats are inflated, is that the people who play the deck know how to play the deck very well. So I think that's part of the reason why it has such a high match 1%. But they did it like a part 2, and that they found that Soul Sisters was actually like has the highest win percentage, was at like 62% or something, and that's because of the how many people are playing Grixis Delver and Burn, and these decks that are just trying to hit you in the face for a bunch of damage, but Soul Sisters, you're doing the exact opposite. You're gaining a bunch of life. So
Soul Sisters or Proclamation?
Soul Sisters.
Interesting. Well, the thing is, it would be very interesting to see the sample size on that, because if there's just like, I don't know, 6-7 people playing Soul Sisters, and they all just had a good run, then it could easily, influence the match win percentage in a way that is not really realistic. I mean, you could say Blue Tron has a 100% win rate because I 4-0'd here if I'm like the only person who played Blue Tron. But obviously, the deck does not have a 100% win rate. That's just small sample size. But I assume that these guys did the math, and they have an accurate. They looked at the sample size and accounted for that.
Okay, here's the data they used covered 11 Magic Online events from March 24th to April 12th. The average event size is about 70 players, and there are roughly 750 decks captured.
Well, does it say how many specifically played Bloom Titan and Soul Sisters? How many different instances of each of these decks? Because that's the really important part. I mean, if there's like a million events, but there's just one single Soul Sisters player and he goes 4-0, it's still a 100% win rate, which is unreasonable.
I think they have. I think Soul Sisters is at 14. I think they have n equals 14.
Yeah, that's 14 different instances of Soul Sisters playing a daily event, and well, I guess 14 is a reasonable number. I mean, higher is always better, but I would say anything above 10 is probably the win rate is probably somewhat accurate.
Yeah, trying to see what they have for Bloom Titan. They don't.
I mean, Bloom Titan has to be a lot of people.
20. They have 20 matches.
20 matches?
What do they have? Oh no, with more than 20. Yeah, Bloom Titan has more than 20. Yeah. They don't say the exact number. I don't see it on here.
It's very interesting, though, still to me, because I'm keeping track of my own win rate, or I used to at least, and I still do a little bit, and my own win rate is above 66%.
Oh, they have 104 matches for Bloom Titan. Okay, yeah.
So was it only 14 matches for Soul Sisters then?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's very low. I think 14 matches is very low. I thought it was 14 people, or 14 times playing a daily.
No.
Then it would have been almost 50, or then it would have been 50 matches. No, I think that's too low. That's not very accurate then. There's probably just lucky streak somewhere in there, and that's because because of that the win rate is so high.
Yep.
And I think you need more numbers than that. Need more matches. So yeah, I keep track of my own win rate, and my win rate is like usually around 66 to 7%, 70%, right around there. When I have like a good month, I have like a 75% win rate in that month. But if you look over a really long period, like half a year, it's usually around 66 to 70% win rate.
Yeah.
So and to hear that the average win rate of like a deck like Bloom Titan is 60%, that means I'm still better performing with like a tier 2 deck than the average person playing the tier 1 deck, and that's great for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So do you have any closing words you want to say? Otherwise, I'm just gonna end it at this point.
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you all for watching the video to the end, a few who do. And if you like this kind of educational reviewing video, then please let us know in the comments or in the private messages or whatever way you can find to contact us. And we will do this again. Maybe with another deck. I could do this with a pauper deck, or maybe with another person. We could see if there's anybody else from the MagicGatheringStrat channel who wants to join in, maybe. Or we could even do a podcasty thing. I don't know. But please, we do care about the feedback. And remember that we're streaming 3-4 times a week on twitch.tv/MagicGatheringStrat. Playing dailies, playing the player run events. Check that out, please. And we're also still looking for streamers. So if you're interested in streaming, contact us. You don't need any experience. We can help you with that. You just need to be motivated, basically. So thanks for watching.